All right, all right, all right. Let's give this another try. So, I am obviously playing X-Plane. I'm going to be doing some IFR, which is instrument flying, which means I'm not going to be able to see out the windshield until just before I land. Let me know what the microphone sounds like, if it is too grainy or not good enough. No pilot edge this time. I've just gotten back into my instrument training, so I don't want to overwhelm myself with radio calls. I'm just going to be flying, and you can see ForeFlight here. So we'll be following this approach. I've got it loaded into my my navigation stack as well in the middle of the plane, which you can see just above my head, right. Well, I guess my right there, up in that other stack up above me, and that's basically what this is going to be. So I can't see any of the chat. It's in a separate window. Actually, let's see what I can do here. Let me do windowed. And that makes this look much different. And I have a Garmin add-on that doesn't quite work the way I want it to. Get that out of the way. All right, there's that. And let me move this over here. So, oops. Put you there, put you there. And then this should go behind X-Plane, and let me drag that a little bit wider. All right, how does that look? Cool. That's pretty much what I had before. Awesome. So you guys should be able to, I should be able to see the chat when you guys start talking about stuff. And then at the same time, I will just be flying an IFR approach into Byron. So go ahead and unpause the simulator. You might have to, this might like settle, so give it a second. We'll see. Nope, cool. Picked up right where I left off. Last time I unpaused it, the plane bucked up and then bucked down and then bucked up again. So I was kind of fighting that. So I'm on an instrument approach. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but over here on the right, this is the approach that's loaded. I'm in X-Plane. I'm just doing the approach. I'm not talking to ATC or anything like that. I'm just checking, just practicing a little bit. Just picked up my instrument training again so that I can fly in clouds and poor weather, just in case I need to. So my first fix is Simone coming up here. And then I'll start descending a little bit to cross it at about 4,900 feet. So this is going to be totally rough. So if you're used to seeing like super smooth approaches, this is probably not going to be that. Also, I'm chatting while I'm doing it, or at least talking while I'm doing it, so that's going to make it even that much harder to concentrate. All right. Now this wants me to turn around to 315, I think it said. And that's not what I wanted to do. Here, let's level this bad boy back out. Too much of a climb. All right, standard rate turn. No, don't descend. No, level out here. So we're going to stay at about 4,900 feet until we hit DASV. And then from DASV, we will start descending to 3,000 feet for moved, which is the next fix. And moved, we should pick up the glide slope. We can follow that down into the runway. We are way off course, so we're correct for that. All right. Getting back on course, we're going to turn back to 316. And there's 316. We'll level off here. Direct track 318. And we can start descending to 3,000 feet. Let me go ahead and set my heading here. And then right at moved is where we should pick up our glide slope intercept. A little too far to the right. Let's correct for that. This is really like I do a lot of IFR practice in X-Plane, but these are actual approaches that I've been flying with an instructor. So trying to just make sure that I'm practicing that for my next lesson. All right, back towards my course, and then I'll start straightening it out here as we get closer to moved. We got 30 seconds, 1,000 feet to lose, so we're a little bit high. Back on course 319. We're on the LPV approach. Glide slope is coming in, straightening out. And direct track 302. So let me turn that direction. And then I'm going to go ahead and bug that heading. I actually don't think that's correct. This should be 311. We're coming down to 3,000 feet. I want to be 2,600 by the time I hit Bappy, which should be no problem. Get back on course here. So we're looking at these needles right here. These are basically guiding me into the runway. This one is my lateral deviation, so I need to come more to the right to get back on course. And this is my glide slope, so my vertical deviation, and it's telling me that I am actually a bit low, which is interesting, and I way overcorrected on that. So getting onto getting onto localizer, which is the horizontal. Turning back to 311. There we go. And those are my strobes, so I'm going to turn those off. But I am going to turn my landing and taxi lights on. I'm descending to 2,600. And let me just double check that. Yeah, 2,600 to Bappy. And this is telling me I still need to go a little bit to the left to get back on course, so let me do that and correct. And then my glide slope is coming in. We're at 2,700 feet. Down to 2,600. And there's 2,600. I'm going to go ahead and raise my nose a bit. And just stay above 2,600. This is the final approach fix, so this is where the glide slope is going to intercept, and then I just fly the glide slope down to the runway. Oop, turning too much to the right. All right, so we're a little bit below glide slope, so I want to climb just a bit. And we're right of course, so I'm correcting to the left. Notice you can't see anything out the front of the plane because we're in a cloud. And my localizer is way off to the left, so I've got to correct for that quite a bit. Getting a little bit above glide slope, which is better than below glide slope. Rather be high than low, but you don't want to be too high. There we go, a little bit of a turn. Back into the localizer. We'll work with some of this super sensitive trim here. All right, there's back on localizer. Let's line that back up with 302. That should be good. And descending pretty quickly. Localizer's coming back. Let me correct that back over. 302. 301 should be good. Still pretty high. Let's go ahead and trim ourselves down a bit. By all means, if you guys have any tips or tricks for IFR flight, let me know. I'm certainly not a professional at this. You can see that now I'm getting off glide slope again. Go ahead and do this. The closer you get to the runway, the more sensitive all this gets. So let's get back on course here. And I think I'm going to be going missed. I'm way too high. There we go, got the runway in sight. But yeah, that would definitely be a missed. I'm lined up with the taxiway. The runway's a little bit to my right. All right, well, let's do our missed approach. Full power, we'll climb straight ahead to 1,000 feet. Climbing right turn to 4,000 and then off to Hare. Hey man, thanks. All right. So I fly with different avionics in the plane that I fly. So let's see if I can figure out how to go missed on this bad boy. Let's go. Procedure. Oh, come on, go away. How do I get rid of this stupid menu? Flight plan. So approach, we did that. We're going to Hare. Let's go direct. Enter flight plan. There we go. So we want to be at 058, which is about there. I want to be a little bit past that so that we can re-intercept it. And we're climbing up to 4,000 feet. go. Back on course. And we'll switch to 058 and we should be back on our way to our fix. Perfect. So it looks like this is going to be a direct entry. So what we'll do is we'll get there and we will turn right into the hold, make one circuit, and then we'll head back to Livermore. We'll see if I can do better on the ILS than I did on the RNAV. Well, I guess that's what you get for being a student. And I really don't have any problem failing in front of everybody. I think that that's actually a great way for everybody to learn, even though I'm not a CFI and I'm not doing instruction here. I think it's valuable to watch where people make their mistakes. And then we can all learn from them. All right, so let's get back at 058 for my course. We're coming up on the hold here. And I've got a pretty conservative climb. I'm only climbing at 500 feet per minute. I could probably do like 750 or 1,000. We're coming up on 4,000 feet. I believe this is telling me I'm entering a direct hold, direct entry into the hold. And there's about 4,000, so I'm gonna reduce my power to 2,400. It should pretty much hold me straight and level. And now we are in the hold. So I'll do a standard rate turn here to the right. Give myself a little bit of power. Hold that altitude. Nope, not climb past the altitude. Looks like we're going to be going 300. Oops, I don't want to overturn. Come on, stop that. All right, level off here. We'll track back to 300 and stay in the hold. And I'll reduce my RPM a little bit more and lose some altitude here. All right, let's go to our flight plan here real quick. We'll go to here, and we're gonna put in Kilo Lima Victor. This is way easier in a plane, by the way. Kilo. Enter, accept. All right. Nope. And what I want to do is go here and procedures, activate approach. Oops. Procedures, a load approach. And this is still Charlie 83. That's not what I want. I want Livermore. Let me do this. Well, tell you what. After we're done with this hold, I'll do direct Livermore and then see if the other approach loads. So let's start our standard rate turn to the right. We'll be turning to 120 degrees. I should just get that bugged. And start leveling off here. And yeah, X-Plane doing its weird weather effects in the background is definitely distracting. All right, there's 120 degrees. And then once we get back to this fixed hair, I will go ahead and do a direct to Livermore. And then I'll see if I can load the approach there. So let's go ahead and flight plan. We'll go to Livermore. We'll do direct, activate. And that didn't work. Procedure, no. Flight plan. Let me go to, let's see, enter. I don't want to do this. Let's go clear. Yes. Oops. God, this interface is so annoying. Flight plan, menu, delete flight plan, enter. Now let's do Livermore. Kilo, Lima, Victor, Kilo. That should be the only thing, and now let's see if I do procedure, select approach. There we go, ILS 25 right. And watch our altitude here. Guess I should look at the plate first. Livermore, approach, ILS runway 25 right. And looking at everything else looks fine. If I do Linden, it's kind of the closest, but let me do vectors. And we'll do activate. Oh my God, stop it. And yeah, we'll do UHUT. So I am going to say, let's see, there's Tracy. Juicem is there. So I am going to not turn to my left. Let's head on, we'll just say heading 140. All right, we'll stay here and let's see, 3,100. So we'll just say that we have been cleared to descend down to 3,500. And now, want that to be on VLOC. And the ILS, let's brief this approach. ILS runway 25 right, 110. I'll put it on here, 11, oops. 110.5, 110.5. I'll switch those guys, got my localizer. I would pull and confirm. Approach course is 255. So 255 will be right there. ATIS is 119.65, so I'd put that down here. 119.65, we'll swap that over. And then we'll say Livermore Tower's 118.1. So let's switch back to COM, 118.1. Go this way because it'll be quicker. And then we'll switch that over once we are there. NorCal approach would be 123.85, so that's probably where I would be if I were in here, 123.85. I did not set that up prior to this flight. And so we would be on with approach. We've got Livermore loaded into our ILS receiver, navigation receiver. And probably what I would do is the same thing down here. 110.5. And then swap it, and then we're good. So I can cross-reference this with the primary. Just make sure that I seem like I'm lined up correctly. All right, now I'm going to say this looks good for my altitude, 3,500, 3 Bravo Echo. Turn right heading 210. So I would say 210. Right heading 210, 3 Bravo Echo. We'll start our standard rate turn here. To 210. And we don't want to descend, so I'll pull back on the yoke. And here we are, 210. Alright, and now I'm going to say 3 Bravo Echo, turn right, 225, report established on the localizer. So I would turn now to 225. And I can descend down to 3,100 feet. And now I'm looking at my localizer here, which will start swinging to the left until it's centered. And then I should intercept my glide slope at Jusum. All right, we'll do mixture full rich. Landing taxi light are on. Gas is on both. Undercarriage is down and welded. And seat belts are on. 225, here we go. I'm going to do 2100 RPM and hold 3,100 feet. And then trim that out a bit. To slow myself down. 225 on the heading still. Come on, don't descend. Oh, my RPM went down, that's why. All right, localizer's coming in. Now I know that my final approach course is going to be 255. So I'll put that in. And now I'll start turning towards it because I'm within 1 dot. Standard rate turn to 255. And NorCal 733 Bravo Echo is established on the localizer runway 25 right ILS. All right, so now we're coming to Juicem. Juicem is also 3100 on 255, and then we follow the glide slope down again. What I'll do is I'll put in 1 notch of flaps. And try and tame X-plane here because it doesn't like it when you do flaps. And now we're turned too far to the left, so let's get back on our approach course. Trim our nose down. And right rudder. Getting back on localizer. And a little too far on the localizer. And I know I'm rough. This is not, again, I'm not a pro pilot. I'm just doing some practice for my IFR lessons. This is way easier in real life. I'll do this. There we go. Night, 24-hour lockdown. Good to see you, man. All right, we'll stay here at about 247. And getting back on the localizer, glide slope's coming up. We're about to get to Juicem. And then once we get to Juicem, we've got a nice gentle descent into the runway. Stop climbing, you stupid plane. All right, back on localizer, let's turn right to 255. Just a gentle turn for 255, there we go. Thanks, man. Or girl. Guess you can't tell online. All right, cool. We are on localizer heading 260. We want to be back on 255. I'm going to pull my power back just a bit. That's one of the things X-plane does that my plane doesn't do in real life. When you trim, the RPM changes like significantly in X-plane, whereas in the real plane, it might change a little bit, but it's not going to go up by 100 RPM with a couple of trim, nose down trim pushes. That's a bit excessive. Anyway, maybe it's just me. All right, let's turn back to the right, get back on 255. A little bit more than 255 so we can get back on that localizer. And then we are intercepting the glide slope. And we can just reduce our throttle to about 2,000 RPM. Shoot for about a 500 foot per minute descent. Stop turning. And then we want to be on or slightly above the glide slope on the way in. And here we go. Approach course is correct, 255. Not quite descending fast enough. Let's get back on that glide slope. Awesome, man. Good to see you. 24-hour lockdown. I don't want to assume. I just think that's a bad form of me to assume that anybody watching is a guy. All right, so now we're watching this. We're getting a little bit high on our glide slope. So I'm going to pull power back a little bit more. 261, we're starting to go a little bit to the right on our localizer. Send about 600 feet per minute, get back on the glide slope. And let's turn a little bit to the left so that we get back on localizer. Now in the real world, you only get one ball of deflection if you're doing like a check ride. Otherwise you'll be failed, so I would have been failed a couple of times already tonight. But again, this is just for practice. Let's see, I want to be about 600 feet a minute, 700 feet a minute descent. And I want to stop turning to the right. Let's get down to 1900 RPM. $258. Now, I mean, for safety reasons, being a little bit high is always better than being low. Yeah, you still want to pretty much be on glide slope and your localizer path, which I'm not doing a very good job of keeping tonight. 252, 254, 255. Straighten that back out. And the glide slope is coming back in. So we are going down to 600 feet. We are at 1,600. We got 1,000 feet to go. $1,500 for 600. Back getting into the glide slope, which is good. We'll increase a little bit of throttle here. Arrest that descent. Turning a little bit too far to the right again, so we'll come back a little bit to the left. 260, 1,300 for 600. $1,200 for 600, 600 to go. 1,100 for 600, 500 to go. All right, go to the left a little bit more. Yeah, 172, this is what I'm practicing for in real life as well. The plane that I fly most often is a Cessna, and this is what I'm doing. 900 for 600, we got 300 feet to go. Getting a little bit low, so I'm adding a little bit more throttle. And we're getting a little bit too far to the left. 800 for 600, 200 feet to go. $700, we got 100 feet to go. And this would be minimums. I would say I do not have the runway environment in sight, and I would go missed. There's the runway environment. So we'll just go full throttle. Flaps up. And plane is diving. Up, you stupid plane. Up. There we go. Missed approach, straight ahead to 1200, and then a right-hand turn to 5000, heading 020. I'll go ahead and retrim here for my climb. (1200 feet), so we'll make our right-hand turn here to 020. And then we'll do the Oakland radial 060. And then we'd head back to Altam. There's 020. And now let's do this. We'll go customize the weather. Oh yeah, clouds go all the way to -7 AGL. Let's see. MSL 400, I want it to be 600. I'll say 620. Should be just above minimums. So we'll do that, we'll say okay. Apply changes, and now I'm gonna do a different procedure this time. Select approach, we'll do the RNAV. Vectors to final. And we'll do activate. All right, so let's close this. Let's go to a different approach. Livermore approaches, we'll do RNAV 25. And we're gonna head over to U-Hut. Although, suppose we should head over to Altam first. So let's do maps. Let's get rid of Byron's plate. Hide plate, straighten out. And there's Altam right ahead of us. We'll turn a little bit to the right, 020, and head towards Altam. So this time the cloud should be high enough for us to break out at the bottom. And we'll be good. I think Altam, I think the RNAV starts at 3,700 feet. So I'll just level off there, even though if this was IFR, I'd be climbing probably to at least 4,000. 4,400 it looks like on this, or 5,000 if I was heading more to the west. But for the sake of practice, I'm just going to level off at 3,700. And then we will shoot the approach, RNAV. Let's export this to our map. And there's our plate. Too much turn. Stop it. All right. So there we go. Let's take a look at the plate. We're going to be coming in at 3,700 feet, 255 course, heading to U-Hut, and that's where we should intercept our glide slope, or glide path, I should say. And then from there, we'll go down to Gaines, Oyahi, Torques, and then we should break out down at the bottom. We're at 4,000 feet. We'll go ahead and level off. And get our configuration in for 2,300 RPM. How's the microphone, by the way, guys? Is it sounding okay? I know I had this set up about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and it was super distorted. And I played with the levels a bit to try and make it sound a little bit better. So I'm just curious, does it sound okay? Does it still sound super distorted, or what do you guys think? All right, there we go. So we'll start trimming out for here. And we'll head this direction. Now let's see, I am there. I'm going to say Cessna 3 Bravo Echo. Turn right heading 090. 090, 3 Bravo Echo. Do our standard rate turn. And we'll straighten out. There we go. And then I'll just vector myself back onto the final approach course. We'll switch this back to GPS. Actually, you know what? Let's do the ILS again. That'll be fine. Let's go ahead and hide the plate. Go back to our airports. We'll go ILS 25 right. We'll load this to our map. We're turning a little bit past 090, so let's get back on course. And there's 090. All right. So again, I'm definitely not a pro pilot or pro at IFR. This is practice for real world IFR. I took a couple of lessons a while back. I passed my written, and then went more than 2 years. Didn't have time to go and actually finish it, so I'm getting back into it and just starting to seriously dive into the lessons again. So this is just practice for that. So any mistakes I make, by all means, if you guys are instrument pilots or if you have more practice with IFR, call me out on the mistakes that I make. I figure that we can all learn from my mistakes, and I think that's fine. So we're at 3,900 feet. I'm going to vector myself back onto U-Hut. And then we will start our descent back into Livermore on the ILS 25 right. Let's brief this bad boy again. ILS 25 right into Livermore Municipal Airport. Localizer 110.5, that is set up correctly. We are on VLOC, which is good. For the sake of this, I'm going to say that we already identified that station. ATIS 119.65 is there. NorCal approach 12385. They are here. And Livermore Towers 118.1, which is there. Starting to drift a little bit to the right again. Ground control 121.6. I guess I could put that in down here. 121.6. And there we go. Briefed. That's good. We're going to get radar vectors to U-Hut, then begin our descent. Well, I'm sorry, and then join the establish on the localizer, and then join the glide slope at Jusum. Missed approach. We're going to do a straight out up to 1,200 feet. Right turn to 5,000. Climbing right turn to 5,000, heading 020, and then we'll join the Oakland 060 radial. So that's what I should put in down here. Let me go look at what that is. There's Oakland 116.8. Damn it, plane, stop turning to the right. My real plane does not just dive like that. All right, let's switch here, 116.8. While we get back on course. Cool, and we are going to be on radial 060. You know, I think another thing that really kind of is way different in a simulator versus a real plane. In a real plane, I can reach up and turn the knob, and I don't have to watch the knob to make sure that it's going the right direction, or to really kind of keep an eye on it to make sure that I stop it where I need to. I have a pretty good feel for how much a turn is moving the knob. When you're clicking on one of these, you don't. You're really just kind of trying to, I guess. But you really have to kind of look at it, and since that's spinning one direction, your hand kind of starts doing the other direction to try and, like, I guess, compensate for it. And so you end up in these really strange, unusual attitudes. At least for me, I think that's what that is. That being said, that may not be the case. Let's go ahead and switch this. I should be on the from, and yes, perfect. It's probably just because I'm a terrible pilot. Anyway, a little bit to the left here, so let me go ahead and get back on course. And we're just about parallel with U-Hut, or I guess a beam U-Hut. And I'll try and vector myself just a little bit to the north of it, and then come back around and reestablish. All right. Let's get back on 090. All right, 3 Bravo Echo, turn right, heading 150. And I would say 150, 3 Bravo Echo. go, heading 150. And then let's just do this. And alright, gas is on both, undercarriage is down and welded. Mixture is full rich. Passengers have been briefed. And seatbelts are on and latched. Cessna 3 Bravo Echo, right turn, heading 250, report established on the localizer. 250 will report when established. 3 Bravo Echo. And it's implied that he has given me a altitude descent to 3,100 feet. All right, 250, and descending to 3,100. I said descending plane. And our localizer is coming in. I guess I'm going to put this on 255. And we're at 3.5, going down to 3.1. And what I want to do is nose up a bit, slow myself down so I can put in my first notch of flaps. Go 254. Three Bravo Echo is established on the localizer. 3 Bravo Echo Roger, switch tower 118.1. Clear to land runway 25 right, ILS 25 right approach. Switch to tower. And then just maintain my 3,100 feet. Let me go 80 knots. We'll do 1 notch of flaps. And then we'll nose down because this always messes X-plane up quite a bit. Also, it's easier to make micro corrections in a real plane, like for the left or right turn. It's hard to see the gauges and kind of what the needle's pointing at a distance like this. In a real plane, you can really kind of see the small changes, if that makes sense. Everything's closer to you, so it's just easier to see. This is still quite a ways away. And let's see, get back on our localizer. 265, 10 degrees, and I'm going to actually increase my speed a bit. Bring it back around to the left. I can't actually, that's the point. This is instrument flight, so I'm training how to fly when you can't see, you're in a cloud or smoke or otherwise can't navigate by visual reference. So that's 100% what I'm doing. Everything that I'm working on is the instruments right here in front of me. All right, we're about to hit our glide slope intercept. And I want to be a little bit more to the, pointing to the left, 255 heading, maintaining our localizer course. And there we go. All right, we have passed Jusum. We can start our descent. So I'm going to reduce my throttle, 2,000 RPM. Try and maintain about a 5-degree descent. 500 foot per minute, I'm sorry, not 5 degrees. And just stay on that glide slope. Come back down to about 1900. .251 should allow me to catch the localizer again. 500 or 600 foot descent rate. Should let me catch that localizer. I want it to be more like 600 feet so I can actually catch it. And then a little bit of a left turn here back to 257. Left turn, left turn. There we go. Maybe turn to 256. Perfect. Let's maintain wings level if we can. And we'll reduce our throttle just a little bit more because I want to catch that glide slope. So I'm looking at these two needles right here, and basically the vertical one is my lateral deviation, so I'm trying to keep that centered. And the horizontal one is my vertical, and I want to keep that centered as well. If it starts like dipping, it basically means that I'm high and I need to descend. If the other one starts moving to the left, it means that I'm left of course. Or I'm right of course. I need to turn to the left to re-intercept the course. So this is how you land when you're doing instruments. Let's turn on our strobes. That's super annoying. I'm actually going to turn that back off. And I might turn those back on once I break out of the clouds. Cool, so we are more or less on our localizer path, and we are catching the glide slope. I'm actually going to increase my RPM just slightly so I don't go through the glide slope. It's better to be high than it is to be low. And we are at 1,700, and we are descending down to 600 feet. So if we can't see runway environment, runway lights, approach lights, and things like that when we're at 600 feet, we're going to do a go around. Our go around is to maintain our heading and fly to 1,200 feet, and then right-hand turn, climbing right-hand turn to 500 feet. I'm sorry, 5,000 feet. And then we're going to intercept the Oakland 060 radial and fly that to Altam, which is one of the fixes. All right, 1,400 down to 600 feet. A little bit more throttle here. Now, this looks like a really nice approach. Hopefully I don't jinx it. And 1,200 feet for 600 feet, so we have 600 feet to go. $1,100 for 600. $1,000 for 600, so we got 400 feet to go. $900 for 600. We got 300 feet to go. Ready to go around if we need to. 800 for 600. 200 feet to go. $700 for 600. 100 feet to go. And just about to 600. 600 runway environment in sight. We'll get our strobes on. Now we'll make a VFR landing. Just do full flaps here. We were a little bit off course, but that's okay. God, X-plane sucks with its flaps. Real plane does not balloon upwards like that. And here we go. Yeeks. Get our flaps up and good landing. All right, so that's basically an IFR landing in Livermore and X-plane. I wish the flight model was a little bit nicer, but what can you do? And then what I can do is actually turn off at this taxiway right here. And then what I would do here is brake, switch over to ground. And column 2, Livermore ground, Cessna 733 Bravo Echo, clear runway 25 right at Echo, taxi to parking. And then they would say Cessna 3 Bravo Echo, taxi to parking via Juliet. And then I would just double check, get our mixture trim, leaned out for taxi. Landing lights off, strobes off. Everything else we'll just keep back on. And then we will taxi via Juliet here, back to our hangar. All right, everybody. I hope that was a fun little IFR adventure for you. Definitely is disorienting. I feel like it's a lot easier in a real plane. You can see everything in the cockpit a lot easier. Controls are less touchy. And when you make minor corrections, the plane doesn't like balloon and do all kinds of weird stuff that it does in simulators. Still don't really like the landings in these things. Hopefully that was interesting. I'm going to be doing a lot more IFR practice, so you guys can come along with me when I do that. And we should have some more flight vlogs coming soon as well, with some more IFR flying. Hopefully some IFR lessons in actual weather and all of that coming up in the near future. Right now it's smoky as heck out here in California, so not difficult to find a cloud. The only problem is, do you really want to fly through that stuff, because it's not the best for your lungs. But all right, everybody, have a great night and stay safe. Talk to you soon.